Well, he did more than 300 colonoscopy, and he did. You told 95%.
95%.
His rate of success is 95%. He's fair.
Okay, so you need to stay here then. You teach. I'll sit down.
You teach him.
I tell you, I couldn't believe this guy. He's done 350. He teaches on an advanced colonoscopy course.
Very interesting story. I was outside in King Faisal Hospital, Riyadh.
Yeah.
I called in Arabic, and my accent was a little bit changed. I talked to him, he's my friend, and I told him we have a locum here, and we want to hire you. What industry you have done? You told me I have done this. I told you up here. Then he recognized me that you are doing me and this and that. So he is my friend from the channel.
Excellent. So you're under the fold. Draw that slow. Tip up. Yeah. Tip up. Good. Clockwise torque. Yeah. Tip up. Tip down. I don't know if you ever know, there's an old saying in England, look up, look down, your pants are falling down. So...
Sir, ideally we should keep our hand like this to start with.
No, stand with your hand like this. Why, after the last guy, I'll say the reasons why. There is a genuine reason I teach this. There's people now who've got their PhD on the back of the type of thing that I'm teaching. And brilliant. So take the scope out. And I get very irritated. Not by you. Carry on. Take the scope out. Not by you. I get very irritated that people have got the PhDs on something that people like myself have been shouting about for 25 years. So in endoscopy, neck injuries are getting big. Very big. Carpal tunnel is getting big. If you notice when you were scoping, I push your hand back. So golfing. What did they teach you when you played golfing? Come down. Elbow injuries, getting big. I've done 70-odd thousand. I haven't got. My neck is a little bit uncomfortable. I've had carpal tunnel. Elbow, I've had. But that elbow come from rugby, so don't worry about that. But the shoulder come from a motorbike. So these are the things. But what we've got is a lot of people who've done a lot of endoscopy. You are sad, he's got a bad back. Vaka, he's got ailments because we were taught in a certain way. Our certain way we taught ourselves. So when we actually learnt, we didn't learn, we learnt a good technique, but we learnt a bad way of implementing that technique. And what we've done slowly is look at how to apply that technique. His wrist. So that's the reason why I got your elbow. Because you're breaking the wrist when you should keep the elbow. I will fight with you. Stop flicking the wrist. Good.
Sir, at what distance we should hold the scope with the right hand?
Right, so optimally you need to be about 20-25 centimetres distally from the anus.
Jiggling movements.
You jiggle, I'll jiggle. This?
I have seen
Garbage. Garbage. Concertina in the bowel? Rubbish. Vaka, do you jiggle? We don't jiggle. There's no jigglers in this room, please.
Oh, I have seen Japanese.
Japanese, let the Japanese do the Japanese.
A lot of jiggling.
They do a lot of jiggling there. That's a Japanese colon. They may jiggle a lot in Japanese colons. Seriously, Pakistani colons are different to English colons. We have a lot more diverticular. Sigmoid is a lot harder to get through. So you do have a difference in the populace that you scope. They may, but in the UK and Pakistan, no jiggling. Stop cracking the wrist. So you want to come round, bring this up and turn your shoulder, big wheel forward slowly. There. Big wheel back. You don't need to... Huh? You want to... You're very stiff. Nice. Thumb at 6 o'clock. Good. Whoops. And draw the scope back. Draw the scope back. Draw the scope back and maintaining the torque. Keep that torque. No, keep that torque and advance the scope. See? Yeah. And that's how you right. Let go. Yeah. Let go. Let go. Let go. You're like this. Yes? What did I ask you to do? So, you're like this. Watch what happens. So you come back and hold the scope this way, like you're doing. And be in the position, let go, let go, let go. Be in the position you were in, which was you were here. Yes? And here. Now stand up straight. This scope comes off the bed. All this hand has to do is stop it dropping off the bed. No, just relax. Don't have to be stiff. Stand up. Be proud of yourself. Okay? Do you see? Now lean forward back to where you were. You don't need that. Stand up. Scope. You're doing it again. Keep the wrist. So turn the body. Not the wrist. Not the wrist. Step down this way a fraction. That's your issue. That's grand. Keep coming back.
How we should stand like this?
Right.
To the bed or if
you are naturally, thanks, well done. You naturally stand. What determines how you stand when you're scoping? Height, yeah, and I've already told you. What else? What is the biggest?
The monitor should be...
The monitor.
With your eye level.
Okay, the monitor's opposite my eyes. The monitor's opposite. But if the monitor is here, behind me, I now scope completely different. Because I'm doing this. Right? If the monitor is here to my left, see how the scope changes direction automatically? So, I'm here. So if we're here, the scope is here. If I'm now changing here, the scope is there. Where the scope needs to be, the monitor needs to be, is here. In front of you, right in front of you. So you actually stood up. So if I'm actually talking to you, I'll stand this way. I won't stand square to you because that's intimidating. I'll always stand slightly off centre. So, but that's how we interact. But to actually get the best out of that monitor, the best thing is that I have the monitor, so I actually sit here and I can actually see it square. So I'm looking at the monitor. Then what happens is your shoulders are perfectly in line with the monitor. If the monitor is this direction, I will now change my position. And my neck is now no longer in symmetry. No longer. So if I actually bring this square, my neck and my shoulders are in line. The most important thing to do is think about ergonomics. Don't like to use, but ergonomics is very important. Here, here, keeping still, moving through. You may think I'm being funny when I'm actually saying keep the scope here. But what you can do with the scope when the scope is here, so if you watch the feet, change in position, you can actually change, but the scope and the neck stays all in line. That's the only thing about having that. So ergonomics is the most important thing.
So
that's to protect you, you young men.
Yeah, what about shortening? If this is the bend, and if you want to override this bend, how you can shorten the scope to make it?
Get your chin up. Get your forehead down.
Like this is the cone.
Okay, so see there?
Yeah.
That's a bridge.
Yeah.
So you go under a bridge. Forward. Now, that's shaped like this. That's a boat. Boats go over water. So you go over a boat. You've gone under the bridge, you've gone over the boat. Now chin up, over, chin down, and then anti-clockwise, anti-clockwise, anti-clockwise. See? Now, as you come here, it doesn't matter what we're doing here, because it's the mannequin, but you're coming back. And as I come back, now what would be the most logical direction to go? Clockwise. I was asked before which is my preferred direction. My preferred direction is anti-clockwise to 12 o'clock. As I go
You went anti-clockwise?
I did. I let the scope drop.
Why?
Because that then straightens the sigmoid. See?
I didn't get this one. If the direction is like this.
Yeah, again. So if you look, now the sigmoid's straight. So now I want to go straight, anti-clockwise, draw back.
Demonstrate it for us again. Yeah. It's very.
It works.
But for you, but not for us. I don't know why.
It'll work for you. Not for me, thank you. I've had. So you want to put more anti-clockwise torque on. You can't do it. Put the scope there. Let the scope come round. Scope will now go forward. Want the clockwise torque? Fine. Tip up. Draw the scope back. Advance the scope. See the directional force?
Yeah.
Sir, sometime after crossing the spinning flexure.
Paul.
Dr. Paul.
Paul.
Paul, sir. Sir, sometimes we cross the spinning flexure and we try to reduce the loop, but the scope unfortunately falls back.
If you've got there once, you'll get there a second time. I'm not a fan of, you'll have heard people say, let's hook.
Yeah.
Don't
I'm
hook.
talking about that.
Don't hook.
Don't hook.
Don't hook. What does the colon get hung on? Mesentery. Where are the nerve endings? In the mesentery. You hook, you pull down. What are you going to do to the mesentery? Stretch. What are you going to cause? Pain. But also, what you also can do is that the mesentery, it can tear from the splenic. And you can pull that off. Splenic injury is bigger than what you actually realise. And we pull the splenic flexure ligature straight forward, and we can actually tear that away. We can cause bruising at least, and we can cause a rupture of the spleen quite easily.
Better not to do it.
Better not to hook.
Sorry, Dr. Paul, sorry. I didn't get this idea. When you're reaching the sigmoid, you're doing the anti-clockwise. Though in book it is written you should do torque plus clockwise. Torque clockwise. But
Right.
This thing
You're quoting Cotton and Williams' book. Cotton and Williams wrote that book in the 1970s. What worked in the 1970s is still applicable in 90% of cases. What we're showing you is a technique that works in, again, 90% of cases. Mix the Cotton and Williams book and what you do normally, which is what Saad's already said. What we're advising you, put the two together, choose which technique works, and then you will find and you'll apply it. And
can you demonstrate it for us again? You need
So here we are in the rectum.
Yeah.
As we come round, you'll see that it goes into the rectum. I keep the scope here, right? So we have a look. We look where the lumen wants to be. The lumen is here. Because we've got the person on the back now, it's different. Anti-clockwise, as we come to the rectosigmoid. The bowel in the mannequin will actually react differently. This is now going the way you would normally go, which is clockwise. Look at what's happening to the scope. Clockwise. When you pick the scope up, the bowel then relaxes, because the bowel is like anybody that you go like this to. It stiffens up, it doesn't want to know, it'll fight back. If you allow it just to relax, it'll then support you. Look, so just by putting the scope down. So sometimes I put the scope down.
And one important, the change of posture, I do usually look, avoid it.
His posture here,
The patient change of position.
change of position, that is important.
Only when I feel that I cannot move forward, then I should usually avoid.
That's what I do. That's what I do.
Sometimes people unnecessarily changing the position.
I am not a fan of changing position. I am now out of the rectum. Patient now needs to be in this. I'm now in the descending now. No. The only thing that I do like is the patient on the back for withdrawal. On the back to withdrawal till I get to the descending colon. And that's because as you pull back the scope comes back in this line. If they're in the left lateral, the scope can drop back. If they're in the right lateral, the bowel can drop off. In this position, there's more control. The bowel will actually stay more static. Once you get into the descending colon.
When we are withdrawal position, the patient should be straight.
So in this position, the scope comes here, and then the bowel could drop off. In this position, the scope could drop back. So in this position, the scope's more stable. Once you're into the descending colon, the scope will stay here, and then you can negotiate. Happy?
Shifted in the room, in the mannequin.
Yeah.